One big problem I had straight from the beginning was getting a camera, or just having a camera in general. I had a couple of cameras that I tried out. I had a little digital camera, and I even tried the camera on my phone, but I don't feel like they looked good enough. And although from what I understand from guerrilla filmmaking is that, it's all about making a film with whatever resources at hand. However, I feel like I wanted my films to look good because ultimately I want to make them to show them off. And one aspect of having a film look good is having a nice picture quality. So I've been wanting a camera for a while anyway. So I got the Canon 600D, and that's what I used to film from there on in. Except for the portrait film, of course, which required to use a non-dedicated camera. Another problem was actors. I used myself for the first film, which was alright. It was good in the way that you can do what you want to do. You can get out of it what you want to get out of. You know what you want, and you can do as many takes as you want without annoying anyone, which is a good thing. But on the other hand, it's a bad thing because you have so little control over the camera that it's hard to frame the shots correctly and just have it look the way you want. Even this, filming myself now it's kind of difficult. It took me a while to set this up, and it wastes a lot of time, and you have so much less focus behind the camera. So for Twisted, I asked someone to be in the film, to act, and he did, and it was really good. It works out so much better, especially with that film. It had to be, I had to be behind the camera because the shots had to be planned out so well in order for them to work properly. Locations were pretty easy to scout out. I mean, obviously I used my home, and then I used the park, which was right next door. So that was no problem there. The problem that comes with filming outdoors, as always though, is the weather. And that day it was one of those days where it just went from cloudy to sunny to rainy back to cloudy, and it was those situations are difficult to film and ensure like a consistent story in the end. And on top of that, I just bought the new camera and I didn't want it to get rained on my first time using it, so that's always an issue that comes with it. So we spent a lot of time sitting under a tree waiting for the skies to clear out and then continue filming, which is of course something that you don't have to worry about at home. However, it's just so much nicer to film outside than it is to film at home. So, it's like a double-edged sword in a way. It comes with its benefits and it comes with its cons. After I'd finished the films, they didn't receive much viewing. I'm not too sure why that is exactly. The portrait one obviously is a kind of a personal piece which I wouldn't go around showing, but something like Twisted, I feel like it shows off really well my skill with computers and cameras, and it shows off the level that I'm at. I didn't show them around much. Twisted, actually, my friend who was in it, who acted in it, he quite liked it. I think he showed it to a fair amount of people, and he also put a link to my video on his YouTube channel for his subscribers to have a look at. So that's probably the most viewed one, and portrait one is the least viewed one. And the Great Britain one is something that I didn't show to many people, like friends saw it, but I find it difficult to make a good film with pictures only, because those already seem like two opposing ideas, moving images, but then making a film with only pictures. So I find it kind of difficult to make an interesting film from that. And I'm not saying I feel that the Great Britain film is bad, I just don't feel like it's a film that I would walk around and actively show off, because it has pictures in it, and because I feel that's a hard kind of task to make an interesting film out of. Whereas Twisted, for example, that had a lot to do with the edit and how the camera was set up, and as I said earlier, that's a film that I would definitely show off because it shows my skill level with the camera and the edit program. the Great Britain film, I immediately thought I don't want to make an educational video about Britain's policies and politics, and everyone knows that there's a Queen, that there's a Tony Blair, and that there's riots, and that there's now a James Cameron. So I didn't want to do that, and I immediately thought, what does Great Britain mean to myself? What am I doing here? So I kind of split the video up in two. The first half being what I know of Britain, the basics, what everyone pretty much knows. You know, just kind of set up the environment that I live in, and then show what I do in this environment. So obviously education is my primary reason why I'm in England. And then, you know, with going to university comes things as going out, you know, relaxing and all that kind of stuff. And all those things are connected with money, which is always a concern that kind of limits what I do in England. So, you know, it's another theme of the video, I guess, because everything I do, it makes me lose money. So I set out with these two opposing ideas and kind of put them together as one, ultimately with the goal being, you know, what am I doing in Great Britain? What does it mean to me? With Twisted, again, I immediately got this idea, and I immediately knew that I don't want to just film something and then in the edit move the sound and the video a second apart from each other. I wanted to come up with something a bit more clever. So what I set out to do was film a story that shows a narrative from beginning to end, but have a voiceover that explains the story from end to beginning. So in the first shot, you would hear the voiceover that would be heard in the last shot, and then at some point the voiceover and the image overlap, and then in the end you see the last shot but you hear what should be said in the first shot. And I thought this, and hence also the name Twisted, of course, and I thought it was a better way of approaching the issue of not featuring video and sound out of sync. Also with that came the idea of trying to make this split screen work in the edit, and so that was something I really tried to do, and I kind of focused on that a lot. And with that came the idea of having this passenger, as you will, your own critic, judging you as you go through life, which is something everyone does. And then, you know, you kind of accept your own critique, and then you go on until the next time you criticize yourself, the next event in your life where you think about what you did. So that kind of came with that, and that allowed really well, of course, for the split screen thing. The portrait one, again, I straight away had this idea of I don't want to show this person's face, because the brief was someone close to you. So I thought, I'm going to film it so that it is a personal video and no one will exactly know what this person looks like, but from what I show I can tell who it is, and more importantly I can link a memory to it. So that's what I did. Again, showed her eye, her tattoos, very personal parts of her that define who she is, but to me especially, I know who she is because a lot of those tattoos I was actually with her when she got them. You know, I've looked into those eyes 100 times, so you know, personal things, like I said, to a stranger they might just think, oh, that's a cool tattoo, or oh, that's a stupid tattoo, or those kind of things, whereas to me it goes far beyond that. One thing that I really took away from this module was how quick and fun and how easy it is to just go out and film. It's something I used to do a lot when I was younger. When I got my first camera, I just get an idea in my head, go out and film it. And I kind of lost my passion to do that since I started studying film. It might sound kind of weird. But yeah, so it's been a lot of fun in that way, because except for that one guideline that you get, it's up to you how you make the film look, and that's something I really appreciate, because that is a lot of fun. And you have so much freedom, you can really be really creative, and I really enjoyed that. Something else that I learned is when I made another film that I called Human What. I used images off of YouTube that were very generalized to kind of get a point across, and the viewer might get the wrong idea. And you know, my intentions were not bad at all, but I just realized how easy it is to kind of manipulate footage to benefit yourself even without intending to do so. So you know, in future I'll definitely always keep in mind on keep an open mind about that, and just view it with the thought in the back of my head that, you know, what do people think that don't know what this is about? And other than that, I'm very happy with the films, very happy with the module. I'm happy how everything turned out, and yeah.